So this book was written by you back in 2017, 2018.
That is correct. Yep.
2018. What was the inspiration just for the premise of the book? How did it come to you? Was it in a night vision, a dream, or what?
Yes, actually. So another long story. I'm full of them. But yeah, so again, along with my military journey, like I really had a hard time adjusting to a lot of things, right? And so I'm trying all of these outside things to like help me to assimilate into society. And I got really heavy into the church for a long time. And, I read the Bible back to front many times. And I was like, you know what? There is not, I think it's because people assume that it's blasphemous. But I mean, this is a fictional story, right? This is not real. But I was like, there's no like nothing about what happened after Adam and Eve came to Earth. There's nothing. Like, we skip. And so I was like, wouldn't it be really cool if somebody wrote some fiction about some possible scenarios that could have happened?
Oh my gosh, that's the premise of the book. I was trying to figure it out. I was like, this is based on something.
Yes.
I don't know what.
Yes, and of course I changed the names because I didn't want anybody to be like upset because it's that's blasphemous. You're talking about the Bible. No, I'm not. And so yeah, basically it's like the story. Now I do want to write another book in the series, and it's in there. It's just not time for it to come out yet. But yeah, so I thought about that, and then I had like some sort of premonition, and I will tell you, when I started writing that book, girl, it like I couldn't write it fast enough. I didn't have to think about what was happening next. Like, it just came out. Like,
wow.
It was almost like automatic writing. You know what I'm saying? Like the book, I mean, I wrote the book. I started it and then I put it down. So it probably totally took me like 6 months. But the hardest part was editing it. I mean, trying to make sure everything was spelled right and grammatically correct. And, I got quotes where I got quotes, you know what I'm saying? But the book itself, it's not from me. Like, that came from, but yeah, so basically it's very, very loosely based off of Adam and Eve.
Gotcha.
And so that's why they're the only two characters in the book.
Okay.
But yeah, and then, the other thing that helped was a really big, and I wish I had a copy of it, the Earth's Children series by John. I think her last name is pronounced Owl. It's Auel. I read that when I was like in middle school, and it's about like right after the cavemen, the Cro-Magnon man, when they came about. And so a lot of the stuff that you see in that book, like the lift that they use to carry their stuff from one place to the next, how they live in a lean-to and how they're using rocks to heat water and stuff. I got that from her. She was an archaeologist and she turned into an author. And so a lot of that came from there. And so her main character is also a female, which and I think it's important for us to have female main characters. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Like, we have a voice and we have major roles in this society. So absolutely.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about all of the references to camping, the lean-to, the picking of the flowers and knowing which plants do this for that. And I was like, was she a Girl Scout or something? How did she know all this stuff?
Yeah. So some of that came from me. I studied aromatherapy and herbal medicine for a while, and so some of that came from there. And like I said, that book just like flew out of me, and I'm like, I want to add sumac berries, and I was like, ooh, is sumac poisonous? And I was like, no, it's not, but let me look it up. You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, so all of that stuff came into play. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Makes sense. So as I'm reading the book, the whole time I'm imagining like you and your husband, right? Brown skin, dark hair, brown eyes. And then it goes to a part where she's describing Adonis, and she's like, his hair is, almost the color of white, and he's got these clear blue eyes. And I'm like, wait a minute. I was
Yeah.
like, she just threw a monkey wrench in my thoughts. Like I'm imagining one thing and then bam.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, well, maybe they're Aboriginal. I was like, they can't be European. I was like, they're not with the name
Yeah.
Adonis and Elohim. I'm like, there's no way. You're right. So what so okay, Adam and Eve. So can we assume, where are we assuming, or where should we assume that these people are? Where in the globe are they?
That is not actually clear to me. I
Okay.
say that they do not have white skin, like you would assume.
Yeah.
With you know what I mean, and so like it's kind of a mixture because they're the people that started Earth basically, and so you got to have a little bit of everything in there. You know what I'm saying? And so I mean, if you think about like Game of Thrones, right? They got their white hair, and then what is it, House of the Dragon? The dude has black skin, but he got this freaking platinum blonde hair. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so obviously, I wrote this way before that came out, but um, yeah. So like, I wanted it to be kind of like left up to your imagination. Like,
Okay.
not a whole lot of really graphic detail because when I read a book, I like to be able to envision some of the stuff myself, right? I like to envision how the characters are moving and speaking. And so that's why there's not a lot of detail about specifically what they look like. But I would say, I'm thinking back to what I know from growing up in, mainstream, school. This is back when Earth was Pangea, like it's one continent. So like there's just one landmass on Earth. So I can't really pinpoint where they are.
Okay.
Um, but a place with four seasons, a place with altered terrain because there's mountains and stuff in it.
There's the ocean,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so I'm
So
like, okay, they got water, they've got
yeah,
caves, they've got mountains. Are they in California? Where
yeah,
are
right.
they?
Yeah. I mean, shoot, they could even be in Maine for all we know. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You just don't know. So
Okay.
so yeah, that's not even clear to me. It wasn't given to me when I wrote the book, but yeah, I mean, I wanted them to be, like I said, I wanted to leave some stuff to the imagination so you could kind of feel uh how you wanted to feel about their physical appearance, and you did that. It worked.
Yeah.
um so yeah, I mean, they don't have a nationality or a
Okay.
heritage at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
They're fresh people.
Okay. So, as I'm reading it, I'm noticing that there's not a lot of dialogue between them. I'm sure they are having conversations when they finally meet up and they're in bed and things like that. But the dialogue that they did have was just so freaking enduring, because I'm just like, oh my God, that's the kind of man I want. And I'm sure the woman, that's the kind of woman that a man would want, because they work extremely well together. I mean, they're like, their couple goals. What couple goals are is what they exhibit in this book.
Yeah.
He's a hard worker. He goes out, he does the heavy lifting, but she's also back at home prepping and making things easy for him so that when he comes back, he ain't got to worry about X, Y, and Z, because she's already done it, because she knows what he's doing out there.
Yeah.
Where was the inspiration for that? Where did that come from? Just the way that they work together and the love that they show, not even with words. Because for me, there was an error. There was a part where there was opportunity for conflict to be there, but it didn't turn into that, which we're
Yeah.
gonna get to. But where did the inspiration for these two characters and the way that they communicate come from?
So you flatter me because that is Darren and me. That's my husband and me. Like,
Wow.
of course, there's conflict, right? Everybody has conflict. But Darren comes from a very loving and respectful family, and that absolutely shows in the way that he treats me. Um, I mean, even the simple mannerisms like Adonis grabbing Elahe's hand when they are sleeping, like Darren does that. Like he'll reach out for me and grab my hand and we'll hold hands while we sleep. Like that's us. And so when you told me that you were thinking that, I'm like, it's amazing to hear that because that's an outside perspective, right? Because I'm in my relationship and it's not all peaches and cream, but it is a good relationship. Otherwise, I wouldn't still be in it, right?
Absolutely.
So So yeah, so the inspiration came from specifically more so his mannerisms towards me. I'm kind of here or there. Like sometimes I am really helpful and sometimes I'm not. But she's a character in a book, so she's pretty good. She's perfect.
Yeah, and we bounce back and forth. We bounce off of each other, right?
Yeah.
So if he is one way, it's gonna allow her to be another way towards him,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yep.
energies, you know,
Yeah.
communicate that way. So
Yeah.
the way he treats her makes her treat him that way, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So you
Absolutely.
know, so the one conflict that I was referring to was how she was afraid to tell him about her night visions, and when she finally did, he was like, "Oh, I don't get them," and you know what I'm saying. I felt like he was just like, "Oh, honey, I don't know, like I can't relate." So you know what I'm saying, and I'm like, "What? That's all he's got for her?"
So what's funny about that is that I dream very vividly all the time, every night. Like I have a dream, I remember my dreams, and Darren dreams nothing at all, ever, nothing. So he can't relate to that. So even that is like my,
Wow,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and I still don't understand how he doesn't dream, but whatever.
exactly. Like, is he getting quality sleep?
Girl, like a rock. I wish I could sleep like that.
That's funny. So you dream a lot all the time, and they're very vivid. Have you ever had a lucid dream?
No, and I don't understand how.
Girl, I have met so many people that can have a dream and in the dream know that they're dreaming, right? And I used to be dumbfounded, like, how do you have a dream and you actually, I said, I never know I'm in a dream
No.
ever until I wake up, right?
Yeah.
So I had my first lucid dream like 4 months ago, and I promise you, it was the most, I don't even know how to describe it, but I woke up and I just had to tell somebody. So I sent a message to my friend Joe. I was like, Joe, I had this dream and this is what happened. And in the dream, I knew it was happening. So here's the thing, right? I'm in a room, like here's a kitchen and a living room, and my mom and my sister are sitting there. My mom passed away 2 years ago, right?
Okay.
So my sister's sitting there, and my sister lives in Cali, right? And she ain't been in my house since I had my son 7 years ago. So in the dream, I'm standing up, they're both sitting on the couch, and I said, "Oh my God." And my sister looks up at me and she's like, "What?" And I said, "This is a dream." And she goes, "How do you know?" And I said, "Because you don't live here and you're dead." Oh my gosh. And so at that moment, I was about to start asking my mom all these questions and just
Yeah.
telling her how much I loved her and missed her and all this stuff. And I fucking woke up. And
Ah!
I was like, "Oh my God, why would you do this to me?" Right? So I'm thinking, okay, maybe the catch is next time when I realize I'm dreaming, don't verbalize it. Just keep it to myself, but just enjoy the dream, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't had one since.
Dang. What'd you like? How did you make that happen?
Oh,
Dang. I want to. I want to.
it is the most, I don't even know how to describe it, but I was elated for like a month after that. Probably how you feel when you're taking them damn shrooms. But I mean, I was just like, wow, I never knew that I could even have the ability to do that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I feel like it's going to happen again. I think I just have to maybe just be in a some sort of mind state to be
Dang.
able to even like receive it to where, I could just see where it goes. But yeah,
Right.
girl, it was great.
That's crazy. Okay, so I don't usually talk about dreams with people, so it is you're the first person that's ever told me that they've had a dream that they knew they were dreaming. Like,
Okay.
not met anybody like that before. So
Wow.
so now it's real. So now it is attainable for me.
It can happen. Yeah. I don't know when it's gonna happen for you, girl, but it happened for me. And then another thing, like when it comes to dreams or what do they call those? Not night terrors, but there's that word for it. Because I could have swore back in the day you told me you had one where you're awake, you can see, but you can't move or speak.
Yeah. It's sleep paralysis.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you tell me that before?
Yeah, girl,
You've
yes.
had it before, right? Because I know I've only met like maybe 5 people that have told me that.
Yes.
And every time I'm just like, huh, what is that? Why does that happen? Thank God it's never happened to me. But
It's
It
scary.
happened to my son.
Oh man, he's so little to have something like that.
Yeah.
Dang. So how'd you handle it?
Prayed.
Yeah.
I prayed over my baby. I prayed over my baby because when the third person, one of my other good friends who's still in the Air Force, she told me she had it. And then a guy that I was dating while I was at Wright Pat, God rest his soul, he committed suicide. We were in bed together in the dorms, and I was awake, and I look over at him, and he's like, and I'm like, hey, Corey, what's going
Yeah.
on? And he's like, oh my gosh. He was like, I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. He was like, I knew you were there and everything. I saw you getting up, but I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I couldn't, whatever. So
Mm.
I called my pastor from back home, and I'm like, yo, what is this? And she was just like, it's spiritual warfare. She was like, anybody that's battling demons got some stuff that they're just trying to work through and don't know which way to go. It's
Yeah.
an internal spiritual warfare battle that they're going through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I shared that with him, and me and him went to church a couple times and everything, but them demons, they were too far gone. And, he ended up taking his life probably like let me see. I was at Red Pat, and then I went to Goodfellow, and then so maybe like 4 years later, that happened. But yeah, so I came back to me when my son told me that happened to him, and I just prayed over my baby, like, God, please, like, whatever I need to do, if I need to quit
Yeah.
anything, I'll do it. Just, you know what I'm saying? But thank God he has not had that happen again. But
Good.
yeah.
Good. Good. Yeah, because they can be freaking scary. Like, I mean, I've had some that I mean, I guess maybe you could say it was like a lucid dream because I swear I was awake. I swear I was. Um, but yeah, usually I don't know what your son's was like or what Corey's were like, but usually you always feel like there's something in there with you, besides the person that's there, if there's a person that is there. So yeah, there's always some sort of presence that feels menacing or overwhelming or negative in nature, at least for me. So
Mm-hmm.
dang.
Wow. So back to how do you say her name? Is it Elahe?
A lie.
Elihe. Okay. Elihe. So her night terrors, are they the same as nightmares, or are they just dreams, but they're called night visions in the book?
So they're dreams.
Okay.
There's more to that story, but I can't tell you yet.
Do I find out in Captured or no?
You find out more in Cap,
Okay. Okay.
but in the third book that's in here still
Okay.
is where you really find out, like, oh, that makes sense. And
Okay.
you know,
Gotcha. Okay. So let's see. So the second book out is The Fall.
no, Captured is the second one.
Captured. The
Yeah.
Fall is the first one, the beginning.
Oh, wait.
Captured is the second one.
Look.
I had another question that I wanted to ask about it. Hold on, let me go. Stay right there.
Mm-hmm.
I should have printed this out, but I didn't have time.
It's okay. And
Okay.
here I am thinking I grabbed both copies of my books, and I grabbed the same copy with a different cover. So.
Ah! Okay, so that was the question. In Captured, so I've given you like what I thought they were, and you've kind of expressed, now the premise of the book, and is basically loosely based on Adam and Eve and what would have happened later on after she eats the apple, and then God punishes everybody, and the next thing you know, you don't hear nothing about them, but all of their legacy and generations to come, right? That started with them. In Captured, though, do we find out why they are so well? Now I know why, that they are the only two that have ever seen each other.
Yeah.
That makes sense now. Okay, I think I got my answer, because I'm thinking, how does she not know that there's a such thing as other people, so now it makes, so that just answered my question right there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and in book 2 there are other people, but yeah, it starts off with them. So.
And I have a feeling that they are not as innocent as they appear in The Fall, because they just seem like such a lovely couple who just frolics around the world and packs up and takes care of this precious little baby. And there's this wolf that is loyal to them, but it's like, why are you being captured? What did you do? You know what I'm saying? So does all that come to light in Captured, like as to why they're being captured? Is it more than they just ran into the wrong area and ran into these people? Is it deeper than that?
It's deeper than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do we get more dialogue in Captured?
You do, because there's more characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm a dialogue person. Like I appreciate all of the imagery because I can literally envision her in the cave, and I'm thinking they don't know what the heck is back there in that cave, and they just go set up like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm imagining these big dark walls, because I've been to caverns and I've taken Bishop to the cavern. So I'm imagining you like these multicolored rocks up against the wall, and her lighting the fire, and then the image, the shadows up against the wall, and how the smoke for some reason just magically would just go out and not flood the cave. And you know what I'm saying? She's not coughing all night. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, wow. So I mean, the way you describe it, it's not too much detail, because I hate a lot of detail. Like I said, I'm more dialogue. Like when I go to plays, I want to hear people communicating. I don't want to hear a bunch of songs and a bunch of I like dialogue. But the amount of description that you gave was just enough and not too much. So that's something I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, because I will also skip paragraphs in books when I'm like, why are we talking? How is this important to the story?
Thank you.
Please, can I draw my own conclusion here? Can we move on?
Yeah. Does the wolf that loses his pack and finds them, does he have any significance to them long term in the future? Like, does he have significance? Okay.
Yeah. And then he's
not the devil, is he?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Because I'm thinking about Adam and Eve, and I'm like, but this guy, he's protective. He's not sinister in any way. He didn't bring the pack back to them or do anything crazy. So
no, just a lone wolf that got separated from the pack. But important to the story for a couple of reasons, because it shows kind of like how it does. Well, I guess it really doesn't show, but like, he's basically like the first domesticated dog, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So that's his role in the fall. So yeah, I mean, just to add another character to the story, since there was not people.
Okay, I like that. I love that idea. And I'll tell you what, like when I'm reading books or watching movies, I try my best not to get too invested in the characters. But when that wolf came back without Adonis, my heart literally sank. I was like, oh shit, something is wrong. That man, that wolf came back without his master. What is going on? And so when she went back to lay back down, I was like, bitch, if you don't get up and go find your man. But then she explained, look, I can't be out here at night with a baby now. I need the sunlight so that I know where the hell I'm going and I don't get stuck somewhere. I was like, okay, girl, you smart. You smarter than me. But how the hell is you able to fall back asleep? How do you fall back asleep and your man ain't there, right? I was getting all upset. Like, please, just get up, just wake up, so that you go find your man.
Happened. I need to know what happened.
Right. But I like the addition of the wolf. That was he's very significant. You know what I'm saying? And I like of course his obedience and his loyalty and the way that he protects the baby. That's really sweet. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you liked the book. I am very glad that you liked it.
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't at first. I was like, this is a slow burn. I was like, can we get to some action? And I think when the wolf came, that's when I kind of was like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Because there was a little more dialogue, and then I was just waiting. I was like, if she don't hurry up and tell this man that she having these dang on night, I'm gonna get through this book and I'm gonna hurt her. But I think once I got to the wolf, and when she was actually able to express herself to him, and then there was that part where Adonis said something to her and it made her feel all gooey on the inside. I was like, that's right, girl. That's when I was hooked. I was like, okay, now I can get through the rest of this. You know what I'm saying? I I had an emotion to attach to the word. So
That is so funny.
good job, good job, good job. I can't wait to read Captured, and that one is available. Tell the people where you can get The Fall and the sequel to The Fall.
So they're both, I self-published both of them. So any errors and omissions are mine. They're on Amazon. That's the only place you can get them because I published them through Amazon. You can also read them for free on Kindle Unlimited if you have a Kindle Unlimited subscription. So yeah, you can get, the digital version or the soft copy like you got.
Okay.